Okay, I thought I would do an update on everything that's going on with the baby goat. Oh, first of all, Albert wanted catfish, so I'm going to get him a catfish plate in Byron. Um, they have catfish on Sundays at the 478. If you ever want to eat, go there. No joke. But the baby goat was doing fine. He was out playing yesterday, and Albert was sitting there listening to music and stuff, and he heard the baby goat screaming because the baby goat goes in the field, in the front yard, wherever. So when the baby goat was beside the chicken yard, and Albert heard him screaming, but the baby goat tried to run and come back through the fence, and then Albert saw he was pouring blood, so Albert started screaming. So I ran out there. I don't run. I moved out there as fast as possible. So I saw the blood pouring out of his mouth, and I couldn't figure out what had happened. Albert thought one of the big animals had did something to him, and I said, "Just hold on, just calm down. Let me try to clean him up." So took him in the house, and I got him cleaned up best I could. It was still bleeding, and I didn't want to irritate it no more. But then I saw he had 2 puncture wounds on his nose, and then after I saw the 2 puncture wounds there, and I tried to get the blood with cool water, just touching it. But then I saw something that got him on the lip, stuck him straight through the lip, and that's what was bleeding so bad. They probably hit like a little nerve, an artery or something. That's why it was bleeding so badly. So I said, well, he must have got bit by a snake. So I wanted it to kind of bleed out, because that's a good idea to let wounds bleed out a little bit. So I kept him in the bathtub, let him bleed out a little bit, and then I put pressure on it and held it. He was not happy about it, but I put pressure on him and held it, and that sort of stopped the flow of blood. And then I went and I had Albert bring me my liquid skin, and I could see the 2 puncture wounds, and I just touched the puncture wounds with liquid skin, and that clotted it up. So, and then he was not screaming. He had stopped screaming when Albert brought him in. And so I knew his mouth was going to be sore after. So I said, well, let me go ahead and try to feed him something to get something in his body. So I fixed him a half a bottle. Well, maybe, not even a half, 1/3 maybe. And he drank pretty much most of it. Kind of made his lips start back bleeding, but I wanted to get some food inside him in case he wasn't able to eat the next day or so. So did that, got him cleaned up, wiped off, and Albert cleaned up all the blood, because of the dogs. Our dogs don't mess with animals, but animals, dogs and other animals, if they smell blood or taste blood, then they start getting kind of blood. No, that sounds stupid, but it's true. So and they don't usually mess with any of the animals. They go in the field all the time, don't mess with none of them. So but he seemed fine. He was walking around, and he walked outside and all. But then Albert checked on him off and on all night, and I had Albert. I said, well, just in case he gets hungry, let's put him a big bowl of fresh water inside the shed where Albert sits at, because it's not that hot in there. It's under a shade tree, and put him some sweet feed and corn, like the vet suggested we give him. And I'm gonna fix him some milk in a bowl. Albert said, okay. So we did that, and Albert put some hay in there, but he still had rather sleep in the chair. He stays in Albert's rocking chair, so he got in the rocking chair and sat. So he seemed to be fine. Albert checked on him off and on. He said, well, he's got down a couple of times, and I saw that he's drank some of the water and some of the milk and some of the feed, and he's pooped twice and peed. So that was all good. So we sort of went to sleep, got a good night's sleep, got up this morning, and he had drinking pretty much over half the milk we had fixed him, and some of the water, and he had pooped again, and he ate some sweet feed. So we were good with that. He was resting in the chair again on Albert's shirt, so we left him to that. And we went and delivered this morning. I went with Albert to deliver. we delivered all morning, and when we got back, he was up and walking around. He's been up and walking around, but I kind of don't want to mess with his mouth too much because I could see it's clotted good. But he was wanting a bottle. He was wanting a bottle or something, and I said, well, I just hate to give him a bottle, but I fixed a little bit in a bottle, and he kept trying, but I didn't want to make his mouth sore, so I put it in a bowl, and he drank a little bit of it, and it was messy, and he likes this little swimming pool, so Albert had bought him some new little swimming pools, so Albert put a swimming pool out. It's in another video somewhere I uploaded, and filled it about that much full of water so he could play. He likes to splash in it and drink out of it. I figured if he got in some clean water now, he could sort of clean his mouth himself, and then Albert would empty it and fill it up 2 or 3 times. But I don't want the dogs drinking out of it with bloody water. The reason Albert is with me now is because he stayed there because he has to let the dogs go in his building because there's blood everywhere, and he's going to Odoban his building down and his chair and all that good stuff. But he wanted catfish, and I said, well, I'll go get you catfish if you want catfish. It's in the next town over from where we live at. It's only 8 miles, I guess, from our house, but I'm going to get Albert a catfish plate while he does what he's got to do at home. And baby goat seems okay. He's just sure going through it, boy. He's been through a lot, losing his mama, having to go to the vet for a clog, and now something biting him, and it's just, if he makes it to adulthood, that will be amazing, but he will not stay pinned up because he wants to be with the other goats. He hears them, and if you pin him up, he screams, and then when they hear him screaming, all of the mama goats out there start screaming too, because that's what they do. So then you got him screaming and all of them out there screaming, and they won't stop. They'll scream and scream and scream until you open the gate and I've opened the little pen and let him out. Then they'll stop screaming when he stops screaming, just like that. So and the vet told me just to let him go wherever he wanted, just to monitor him. But guess if he got bit by whatever he got bit by, there's a lot of raccoons down there, and either he got bit by a raccoon, a stray cat, or some kind of non-poisonous snake, because it got him a couple of times, one on the nose and one on the lip. So I don't know what else to think. It was not the horses or the cow or anything. Those are not their kind of bite marks, because horses usually, they have teeth like ours. They're all flat, and horses usually go for their backs. Because Angel has grabbed some of the baby goats before by the back and slung them. But he stopped doing that after I had him fixed because he was just so hateful. So when we got him, he was mad and said at everybody. So, but everything hopefully seems back to normal. I guess he's going to be sore for a while, but he can't prevent that. I hate it, but that's life. So I just wanted to give y'all an update. We're doing our best. I promise you, we do love animals. I know it seems like, good God, with y'all, he's going through it, but I promise you, we love him, and we're doing everything we can for him. So, but you can only do what you can do. You know what I mean? So, all right, well, I'm going to close this. I love y'all. Bye.